Hi there. Welcome to Bible Slash Chat. Gus, hello. How are you?
Good.
Good. Can I offer you a burger? I'm just kidding.
I don't eat meat.
Really? I know you're lying. I don't need anything but meat. No, I'm just kidding.
So we had a question, right?
Yeah,
on
we
this.
did actually.
And do you want to ask it or do you want me to ask it?
Well, but let's dialogue about
Let's
it.
dialogue.
You can start it.
So the question has to do with, what is a Christian view on veganism, right?
Okay.
This is what the question says. And how we are to respond to people who believe that eating meat is evil, ungodly, because of the abuse that animals endure in the American meat industry.
Okay.
So it's a good question
It's a
to
fantastic
think
question.
through some of these
Yeah.
things, right?
Yeah.
So let's go. What should our response be to Christian veganism?
Okay.
Explain what veganism is.
veganism-
for those of us that don't understand
I
it.
actually don't know completely all the rules, but vegans don't use anything that's animal product.
Okay.
To my knowledge, there's like a very strict set of regulations. You don't use anything that's connected with animal products of any kind. That includes like things like eggs and milk,
Fertilizer
and,
for their plants.
I don't know about that, but anyway, that's I would assume.
Sorry,
that part of the animal you're allowed to use. No, but again, like I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And again, there's nothing wrong with veganism and the choice to make that choice. So the very first thing I want to say is just the freedom that Christians have to make their own dietary choices.
Yeah, to eat whatever they want to eat.
Eat whatever you want to eat. Don't eat whatever you don't want to eat. You have absolute freedom to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and do whatever it is that you think would most glorify God.
Yeah.
So we just encourage, like the glory of God is central to those decisions. If you believe in your conscience and in your heart that not eating meat for whatever reason is glorifying to God, or not eating anything that's an animal product is glorifying God, you have freedom to do that. Where we would go with that is just then ask the question, like, how should a Christian consider meat, the treatment of animals, those kinds of questions. And what we would say is there's again a mediating position. It's possible to say, well, to like essentially like worship animals and life and say like, well, I don't want to ever do anything to an animal. It's murder to kill an animal. You hear that all the time. And we would say, no, that's actually not true. And the reason why is because God actually gives us instructions in Genesis chapter 1, verse 28. It says, God blessed them. God said to them, be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth, subdue it, and rule over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the sky and over every living thing and everything that moves on the earth.
Yeah.
So he says you actually have authority over all this stuff. And then in Genesis chapter 6 and Genesis chapter 9, God tells Noah, you can eat meat. You can eat the meat of animals, and you have freedom to do that. So we want to affirm that God has given animal life to humans to eat. So we have freedom to eat animals, and Jesus says you can eat any animal you want. There's no dietary restrictions. You can eat anything from a sea cucumber to a steak, and it's totally fine. You have freedom to do that. So again, we want to say freedom on both sides as Christians go. We want to avoid the worship of animals because that's not actually right. It's not murder. Animals are given to people for their food, for their consumption. But then the other side of that, on the other side, would be like the mistreatment of animals.
Yeah.
So like you hear stories all the time about like mistreatment of animals in various situations. We're told, Solomon tells the reader of Proverbs to pay careful attention over your flocks because they'll feed you in the wintertime. And the point there is, he's saying, take good care of your animals. And there's actually like this instruction. And the reason why you should take good care of your animals is because it's actually the care, you're actually caring in one sense for yourself when you care for your animals well. There's no point in just animal cruelty. Just to be cruel to animals, there's no point in that. And one of the dangers with the meat industry in the United States is greed, right? There's like get the cost for production as low as possible and the cost of the product as high as possible, and capitalism drives that, which is fine. But that can err to a place where animals are being cruelly mistreated or whatever. And we would say, that's probably not wise. Capitalism ultimately shifts back. It actually forces that market back on its own, because what ends up happening with animals that are mistreated is that they don't grow healthy. And so they don't contain the same nutrients. They're going to be smaller portion sizes, those kinds of things. So
they don't taste as good.
They don't taste good. And so it's actually a self-corrective thing. So even that industry will be self-corrective as people say, I don't want to buy that meat. I want to buy this meat because it tastes better.
Grass-fed.
Grass-fed, whatever, free range, whatever it is. So again, we want to let that free market economy do its work and that. But we want to be careful to say we're not supporting cruelty to animals, but they're still animals, so we can subdue them. So again, the middle ground, the middle mediating position here is animals are a gift of God. We can use them and enjoy them. And on the flip side, we want to say, and their products, like have eggs. God gave us chickens to have eggs. And on the flip side, we want to be very careful to say, let's not be cruel to them. And it's wise to take good care of the thing that God's given us, which is the animal kingdom. And so we can use and also at the same time not be cruel to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually excellent as we think about this.
Yeah.
I think that anytime you fall on either side of that horse, you sin.
Yeah.
You sin by judging your brother because he eats meat,
Right.
or you sin by judging your brother because he doesn't eat meat.
Right, yeah.
So then we end up in the first century in the early church judging
Fighting
each
over
other
each
and
other,
having
yeah.
Judaizers telling us and regulating what we need to eat
Totally.
and what we shouldn't eat.
Totally. It's interesting. I think all these issues, like there's a bunch of issues where it's kind of the hot button issue in our culture at various times. And I mean, it's so fascinating to me that you can look out in the totally secular culture and you find people who are vegan, who eat nothing but plant life, and then you have people who are on what's called the carnivore diet, where all they're eating is meat. You know, so like you get the total poles of these choices. And we would say, hey, you have freedom to do any of that. Anything from vegan to carnivore, you have freedom to
Mix
do.
in a salad.
Yeah, throw in a salad for the love. Just put a salad
Yeah,
in there.
put a salad.
But that, again, like you have freedom to do any of those
definitely,
things. And the freedom to do that is actually rooted in the fact that God's given you all life
absolutely.
to enjoy.
Yeah.
And as people, Christians or not, we're given the earth to subdue and enjoy, and we can choose to do that.
Yeah.
And then we just want to take good care of it because it's given to us by God, and at the same time use it and not idolize it or worship it.
Absolutely. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, good. Yeah, if you have questions on this or any other topic, you can always email us at info@faithbibleoc.org. Gus, quick
Thank you.
question.
Yeah.
Do you like meat?
I love meat.
Do you have a particularly kind of meat that you really love? Like, you just think about your favorite thing to eat.
I love pork, actually.
Pork.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah. It's the other way of meat.
Living in Spain for so long.
Oh, yeah.
And they feed their pigs acorns, so they taste...
for the flavor.
Yeah, they taste incredible.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, info@faithbibleoc.org. Thanks so much.